Well, good morning, everybody. Tuesday morning, big day today. And welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Yours truly. You were maybe expecting somebody else. As usual, let's all drink it. If we got it. And enjoy a taste of the music. Good to see you all. Wow, busy chat. Look at the people coming in. Wow. And I don't know if you realized it. I keep looking out because I think in the entire carnivore space, with all, and even keto, with all of the influencers and creators out there, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, over, coming and going. I'm unique. Where else do you hear music? Come on, guys. Does anybody in this space enjoy music? Do they ever put music in anything that they do? Wow, I know everybody's worried about copyright strikes, but there's ways around that. And it dawned on me when I was about to push the button right here and start the music that, nobody else does that. I don't know. Maybe it's inappropriate for this, but I think it's very important if you're trying to be entertaining. Every talk show on TV, even newscasts have constant music going on sometime in the intros, the outros. So at any rate, I hope you enjoy the little bit of music that I do, because I enjoy it. I love music. And it's great to see you. Today is a big day. We're having our meetup today. Can't wait. 11:30, Estampa Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse in Melbourne at the Melbourne Square Mall. And if you just show up, that would not be a problem. If anybody wants to come, if you haven't RSVP'd, it doesn't matter. We have room for more people if they show up. So make a last-minute decision if you're somewhere close. If you're within an hour drive, head on down. And email me if you need directions, but you can Google Estampa Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse, Melbourne, and you'll get driving directions and everything. And we're going to meet there at 11:30 this morning when the doors open, and probably start eating around noon. And eating meat with a side of meat. That's doesn't get any better than that. So look forward to seeing everybody this afternoon. And it's going to be interesting. Another thing that's going to be interesting is I'm still plumbing my house. I know you tune in now for the morning plumbing report. They got most of it done yesterday. I have two bathrooms in the center of my house to have to finish, and then a bunch of oddball stuff that we discovered. You know, you ever notice when you go to fix something that the more you fix, the more you discover yet needs to be fixed? So I have a funny feeling that I'm going to have to provide a spare bedroom for my plumber for a week or two so that he can just stay here, and we're just going to knock this stuff out. Tonight, I do have a live stream tonight, so it's going to be a busy day for me. And I have to make a trip to Lowe's to pick up a few little miscellaneous things between the end of this live stream and dealing with the plumber, getting to the meetup, getting home from the meetup, dealing with the plumber some more. So it's going to be nonstop for me today. We'll see how my stamina holds out. I think I'll do pretty good. I have some show notes here. I'll get to them after I, as usual, say hi to the pre-chat people real quick, try to run through it. I'm going to try to finish up 9:30 today. If you have questions, ask them early, because I'm just not going to get to it all. There's no way, but I do have a busy day, and I have to get at it. And then, believe it or not, that extra half hour that I usually spend here till about 10 o'clock would make it that much harder, considering I have to get to Lowe's, get back here, get dressed, and get to the meetup by 11:30. It doesn't give me much time if this stream goes past 10 o'clock, that's for sure. So I'm going to try to end it at 9:30. I'll make up for it tonight, and tomorrow you can have as much of me as you would like to have. Or not. First one in, Mike Seeley. Mike Seeley, he's over in Kissimmee, probably heading over here. He comes from Tampa for this meetup. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Mike, if you're here now and not driving. Cliff Medina, how you doing? You were in last night as well. Rick Charger Mopar says, we'll catch you tomorrow morning. We'll look forward to it. Rick. Gary No Slow was here last night. Tuka was here last night. Furrow Grandma, Lady June, B81 Mac. At midnight, chiming in from Great Britain was Anna, PL07. How you doing? Lynn Gerber, 1207. Anna, Lady June. Oh, man, these guys and Anna, Lady June and Anna were chatting all night long. Holy cow, look at them all. Wow. Bob Black chimed in at 2:43. First of the Insomniacs, how you doing? Good to see you, Bob. And Anna and Lady June are chatting away, neck and neck. Michael Pregler, 4:45 a.m., up with me. Good to see you, Michael. How you doing? Ribeye Susie chimed in this morning. Smoothie 420 chimed in. Boyd Lamb coming up on 6 o'clock. Mike Seeley Sr. here in Melbourne rolled out of bed. Wayne Herman from Gaston, North Carolina, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Thomas, Target Prime Rib, about 6:30, or 6:13, excuse me. Now, Mike Seeley woke up in the hotel. Greetings from Kissimmee. And that's how you say that name, by the way. Not Kissimmee, like all the news broadcasters do. It's Kissimmee. It's an Indian name. It's a city right near Disney in Central Florida. Tourist trap. And Rick's with us. Rick and the Ducks are up. Good to see you, Rick. How you doing this morning? Mark Booze is here. Looking forward to seeing you again, Mark. It's always fun. Patty Molden. Good morning, Mitch Fitch, she says. And Furrow Grandma's back. Peter's with us. Good morning. I'm driving to Melbourne for the meetup today. We're looking forward to seeing you, Peter. Always looking forward to that. Jeff Streslak from Goose Creek, South Carolina, around 8 o'clock. Sandy Blythe. checked in. And, Touramir just said virtually hi to everybody. Jeff Johnson, the name you know, is with us. Says, morning, fella carnivores. Tuka chiming in, and Sandra McDonald from Australia, from the future. Always good to hear from the future, Sandra. Let us know if there's anything we need to watch out for that might be coming our way, please. Scott Evans says, good morning. How you doing? And Tom from Tampa. How you doing, Tom? Viking 442. Steve Studley's here. Marla Kelly is here. Good morning. Granny Boot 2 is here. Lori's Carnivore Story. Good morning. Lori. Tina. Hiya, Tina. Tina's here. And Tina came in at 8:22, so now the rush begins. The rush starts. Chris, Life After Carbs, how you doing? Good morning to you. And looking for somebody that hasn't already been mentioned here. But the chatting starts. Aaron, Booby Goats, good morning. All you beautiful, awesome, amazing people. It's going to get up to 50 degrees today, heat wave. It's going to be in like 73, 74 here in Melbourne today. I don't know if it's going to be bright sunny. We got a little front coming through, but it's not going to, they say it's not going to make rain, and it's not going to cool us off much. So perfect. One of these mornings when there's no plumber coming, I'm going to move back out on the patio and do this again. Oh, I'm looking. Bryce Hatch, good morning, everybody, at 8:29. William McCartney is here at 8:29. Everybody else keeps chiming in at 8:29. Rick is back at 8:29. Gary No Slow. Francine Bourgeois. Good morning, Francine. How you doing? From Montreal. How are you? And just jumped the gun. Just jumped the gun by a millisecond. Robbie Autry. Good morning, my friend. Boyd Lamb. Jumped the gun. And Rick. Ding, ding, ding. Our winner this morning. First over the finish line. Rick from Miami, how you doing? Congratulations, my friend. Followed by Tuka, B81 Mac, Edward Renner, Smoothie, the Furl Grandma, Lady June, Carnivorous Cat Mom, how are you? And William again, and B81 Mac again. You guys were nailing it. Lori's Carnivore Story. Cindy Sheehan, how you doing, Cindy? Good morning at 8:30. Tuka again. Tanya, 8:30. How you doing, Tanya? Look at all the 8:30s. Holy cow. And Tuka again. Dixie Scott, good morning to you, Dixie. Tuka again. Larry Ryan at 8:30. Good morning, Larry. Jan Foster. I had Jan from Oklahoma at 8:30. And Jan brings up the finish of the 8:30s. Good to see you guys. And Aaron was the first one to start the show at 8:31. Cecilia Heil chimed in. Some new people here. Claudia Burkick, how you doing? Danny up in Boston, good to see you. Lat chimed in. Hiya, Lat. Let me get some of these out of the way. Lewis L. from New York. How you doing, Lewis? Good to see you. The Forgetful DM is here. Wow. Boyd Lamb is here. Hiya, Boyd. Retired Rick joined us. Hiya, Rick. How you doing? Tammy Pitarch in the house. Jackie W. Hiya, Jackie. How you doing? Freshly showered. Thank you. And who else is new here? Who else didn't I say hi to yet? And a question real quick. Michael Pregler, why was your plumbing so bad? Well, Michael, I live in a modular home. I'll answer this quickly. I live in a modular home. It's 35 years old. 36 years old. Back in the days when this was built, they were using plumbing called polybutylene. It was a flexible plastic plumbing. It's supposed to be the miracle plumbing. It was relatively new back then. As a home builder back then, I even used some of it because it was touted as the next great thing. Kind of like some of the drugs that we see every day, new drugs. And they plumbed hundreds of thousands, millions of homes with this stuff. And about 10 years, 15 years later, the plastic fittings where they put this stuff, the T's and the couplers and all that, were also plastic. They were crimped on. They started cracking. And they started developing leaks. And I had no idea when I bought this house that it had that. I didn't even think about it. I was just trying to find a place to live when I bought this place. And that plumbing, because 20 years after they first introduced it, they actually almost outlawed it. They had lawsuits. The company went broke. I mean, it was nuts. People had to dig up concrete slabs, replumb their houses. It was a nightmare for years and years, and there's still a lot of it out there still, and it's breaking all the time. And I would say 10 times in the last 9 years, I've had major leaks. And if you try to fix it and you move the pipe around, it'll crack a fitting down the line. So it's just, I finally got fed up with that. And I said, I can't live like this anymore. I can't. And I have an automatic valve on my house water that I turn off and on every day. And I was getting to the point where I only turned the water on, the main water valve on. I could do it from my cell phone when I needed to flush the toilet, and then I turned it off again. And I've been living like that for a year. And I said, this is crazy. So I finally bit the bullet, saved up a few bucks, and getting the whole house redone. And that's the answer. So if you got polybutylene, or they just call it poly, and you go into a Lowe's and tell them, they'll look at you with great sympathy and sell you half the stuff in the store while they're doing it. Graceful Lily, how you doing? How you doing? And Forgetful DM is here. Good morning to you. I think I'm getting up to the point, 8:36, where I've gotten most of the new people before it gets too late. If you got questions for me today, put Q, 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 Q in the chat. 3 Qs, not 4. 3 Qs, not 4. I'm going to put my little banner up there. And also, I got to do this every morning. If you appreciate what I do, you want to say thank you to me, this is the best way, in my opinion, to say thank you. And there's the link. Buy me a coffee. Thank you, my friends. And let's see. I got to the bottom of the chat. So I've said hi to everybody. Oh, Mama Bear's here. I missed a few. Steve McAvey. Miami, 1 hour away. I've been up for 27 hours. You don't need to go to Miami, Steve. If you're 1 hour from Miami, you went too far. Melbourne is 3 hours north of Miami. Oh my God. Holy cow, Steve. I don't know if you're listening to this, but you don't want to go to Miami. It's in Melbourne. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have his phone number either. Maybe he just typed Miami. He didn't really mean it. Wow, wow, wow. That was ambitious. Trying to come down here for a meetup from South Carolina. Wow. Wow. Did I miss any other entries from him? I think somehow the chat went to the bottom here. I may have missed a few. Hang on. CB's here. Hey, CB, how you doing? Good to see you. Tuca, driving on the interstate. Oh, yeah, CB. Sheriff CB from Alabama. Josephine C., how you doing? Good to see you, too. If I miss anybody this morning, sorry. Sandy McDonald says, question, where has Ellen gone? Your guess is as good as mine. She chimes in every once in a while, but she's been so busy. She's been so busy. Maybe she found other interests. I don't know. I don't know. I get a text from her. No, she's around. I mean, she's not gone, but she's just been a little sparse lately. Okay, that's the end of the chat. Let me see what I got here as far as my show notes. As you can probably tell, I'm very distracted. I have a lot on my mind today besides doing this morning stream. But I'm here. I am here. I haven't come across any questions yet other than where has Ellen gone? And I'm at the bottom of the chat here, so I don't see a lot of activity. Up until then, I see 115 people. Here's a question. Steve Studley asks, what do I know about a DEXA scan? Okay, I will talk about that a little bit after I get done with the show notes. But I will come across it. In fact, I'm already there in the chat, so I will get to that. Meetup today talked about that. Plumbing update talked about that. Anthony Chafee put out a video about cholesterol this week. I hadn't watched it. I watched it yesterday. It's a good video. And the reason it's a good video is that not only does he bunk the whole cholesterol thing, but he just reels them off one after another, the names of all the different studies and what's wrong with them. And if you ever doubt that you don't have to worry about your LDL, especially if you're a metabolically healthy person or have a low BMI, you watch this, it'll really make you feel good and reassure you that you're not killing yourself. If you're still carrying a lot of extra weight, yeah, it might be a problem, but it's more a problem because of metabolic disorders, metabolic syndrome, than it is the cholesterol itself. It's the cholesterol's probably getting damaged by the sugar, the oxidative stuff, like I talk about all the time. But this was a great video, and I don't have a link for it here, but if it's one of the more recent videos on his channel, if you go look at it. I was watching the news this morning, and the Super Bowl's coming up here in a couple weeks. So, of course, a lot of talk about the Super Bowl. I'm not a sports fan at all. In fact, I went and looked up. I didn't even know who was playing, but I had no idea. So I said, well, before you start talking about the Super Bowl, Mitch, maybe you should know who the teams are. And was I pleasantly surprised to see Philly was in there, my hometown, the Philadelphia Eagles, the one sports team. Well, I suppose the Phillies is still around, but the sports team that when I was a kid, I actually rooted for because that's what you were supposed to do. So good luck, Eagles. I guess by default, I'm rooting for the Eagles against Kansas City. And to show you how ignorant I am, I don't know if that's Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri. And if it's Kansas City, Missouri, then I'm sure Steve Rogers, Captain America, will be rooting against me. I just don't care about sports. Could care less. Could care less. As far as what I consider to be important in this world, that doesn't even hit the bottom of the list, let alone the top. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. I'd rather listen to music. But I know people, that's their life. I mean, their absolute life. They know all the stats, all the players. They know the personal stories of all the players. So I'm watching this deal this morning. They're talking about the Super Bowl. And what's the most important thing they're talking about this morning on the news? What is the thing that the actual story was about? Was it about the teams and the struggle that they had to get to the Super Bowl? No. Was it about the Super Bowl and the significance of the game and maybe some historical stuff? No. It was a story about Super Bowl food. And they went on to talk all about your Super Bowl parties, what foods you need to get, what foods people like. They went through the gamut of cookies and crackers and beer and wings and what kind of sauces to use on the wings. It was just what you'd expect for people to be focused on. Like I always say, entertainment of any kind is only an excuse for the average American to focus on food first. Food centric. We have food centric lives, period. It's obvious. We can't have a party, we can't have an event, we can't do anything without making sure that we have an ample supply of food so that we don't have to stop continuously stuffing our face. I joke about OMAD, one meal a day. It seems like most Americans are on OMAD. They have one meal a day, all day. It's crazy. Anyway, that was the morning news. I didn't watch too much of it. I was busy. Busy. Oh, I got this. I wanted to share this with you because these things really make me happy. Let me get rid of that banner, that's annoying banner that's scrolling, so you don't have to watch that for the whole stream. Hang on a second here. There we go. Get rid of that for you. Don't forget me. Got a comment yesterday, and I do get these long comments. When I say long comments, this is what I mean. That's what it looks like on my cell phone. And I wanted to read this to you. I know it's long, but it says it all. It makes these things make me feel like I'm not a lone ranger here when it comes to having experienced all the things I talk about as it relates to carb addiction. I don't know if you could actually read this on the screen. I don't know if it's going to be sharp enough or big enough, but I'm going to read it. It says, OMG, old guy, I thought I was getting a personal telling off from you, as everything you said was me. I do all those things. I look for excuses. And in parentheses, gut issues are real, but shouldn't be the reason I stopped carnivore. I wanted the bread, and the gut issues gave me the excuse to eat it to bung up my stomach. But I don't know if that's a word that I've never used in that context, bung, or it means something that I don't know. It's all about the addiction. I have been keeping lactose-free milk in the diet, but yes, it does contain carbs. I drank 10 cups of coffee a day thinking it was the coffee I craved. It wasn't. It was the carbs in the milk. My biggest partner in crime, wanting to get me off carnivore, is my husband. He's one of those that watch the muscle-building gym freaks that say carbs are great and carnivore is dangerous, and he's always there to aid me in my addiction to sugar. This is a wake-up call. Time to take responsibility, but I'm mourning carbs. I'm sad I can't eat them. I'm angry others get away with eating them, and I can't. Problem is, this crap is everywhere, and it's not hidden. It's actually shoved in our faces 24/7. Even in advertisements, between your posts on YouTube. But I can't allow this addiction to take any more of my time, as I'm missing life because of it. She says, sorry for the rant. I answered, you're certainly not alone. I'm going to leave names out of it. You can fix this. I think that says it all. I think that says it all. And it was validating for me to read that, because I talk about it all the time. I talk about how our subconscious makes these lame excuses for us, how we buy those things without even realizing what's going on. And hopefully thinking about that could be a wake-up call, like this lady, to actually blame the thing that's really causing the problem, and that's the addiction. And that's why I ran about it all the time, because nobody is harping on it. Nobody's harping on it. Most of them are just too busy trying to figure out ways to keep feeding that addiction with foods they think are healthy. But until the addiction fades, you'll never succeed. You can succeed for 6 months. You can succeed for 3 months. You could even go a year. You can get all the way down to your goal weight. But if that addiction is still craving that stuff, even just a little bit of it, won't take very long, now that you're down at your ideal weight, for it to be able to manipulate you again with lame excuses. And you'll start out slow. I'm just going to have one, and then it's a slippery slope. How do I know this? I keep telling you, 75 years of life. That's what I did until something woke me up, some epiphany one day. And here we are. So that was great. Thank you so much for that. Anything else there? Oh, yeah, one other thing. I did that. That was one of my most popular video in a while. And, I'm not getting a lot of views on these things. But yesterday I did the replay from the other day's live stream where I made fun of the Living Well magazine. And that's got thousands of views. And I'm glad I reposted it, because the live stream, when all the dust settles and the people who watched it live and the people who watched the replays, it's always less than 1,000 views. And that's why I reposted it as a standalone video. I said, I think this was great. I think more people need to see it. So maybe YouTube will push it out if it gets a good start. And it did. I put that thing up, evidently the thumbnail with that female doctor on it. And I said, run like hell. Run away. I said, grab people's attention. And it took off. And not that it's a huge video. It's not. I used to get 5,000 to 10,000 views easily. I hardly ever do that anymore. I don't expect to with the way they treat us in this community. But I'm happy that thousands of people that hadn't seen that actually got to see it, because it is so true. It's so nuts. And somebody commented to me something that I probably should have mentioned. I've known it all along. I should have mentioned about Health First. Health First is in Central Florida here, one of the major providers. They own many hospitals. It was one of their hospitals where I had my brain surgery. They have the best neurosurgery wing anywhere in the vicinity. And they're probably the biggest. They got they own the gym I used to go to, a beautiful facility you get for free. They charge like $60 a month to anybody who's not on their healthcare plans, but it's free to anybody that has their. So I chose that as my Medicare supplement. I don't use them all that much. My primary care is from the VA, and thankfully, knock on wood, I don't need much primary care anymore. Only if I break something or some damage from my past trying to be healthy, eating all the oxalates and healthy fruits and vegetables and sugars, rears its ugly head like kidney stones, then I, of course, need them. But the VA covers all that. The thing about that I forgot to mention was that Health First partnered with the Advent healthcare system, which is one of the biggest healthcare systems anywhere in where I live, Orlando, Central Florida, or even the state, I would think. And we all know who the Advent healthcare system, but if you haven't made the connection yet, Think about the word Advent. Adventist. The entire Advent healthcare system, with hospitals and clinics and universities in almost every country of the world, global, worldwide reach, are the Seventh-day Adventists, descendants and disciples and followers of good old Ellen G. White, who started that whole mess back in the late 1800s and spawned one of the turning points, again, one of those butterfly effect moments that changed the course of human history and led us to the so-called healthy fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and stay away from that nasty, deadly red meat and saturated fat. And my healthcare system perpetuates their narrative every time they put out one of those magazines. And if you all remember that video I did about Ellen's visit to her cardiologist, remember that one? If you haven't, look it up. It was a great video. It was a great video, got a lot of views. And the thumbnail said, "So a carnivore went to a vegan cardiologist," and this happened. Find it. It's great. And the vegan cardiologist was a Seventh-day Adventist, and all of the handouts and the information that Ellen was told to check out, all the websites, all the YouTube videos were propaganda from the Seventh-day Adventists. And that's what this Living Well magazine is as well. And until those people are recognized, unfortunately, for the damage they do, it won't change. But you can't say bad things about them. They're a religion. The Seventh-day Adventist. How dare you criticize the religious beliefs of some people? So they have turned this deadly diet into a religious belief, not to be questioned. It's where we are, folks. It's where we are. I don't know if that was the plan from the beginning or it just happened that way. I'm sure it pretty much just happened that way. But that was the first nail in the coffin. Crisco came along. Ansel Keys came along. Here we are. Here we are with Living Well magazine, having 2 pages devoted to telling me why I should be on statins and not do intermittent fasting. I could talk about that for hours. All right, my friends, let me do this. Got about 20-some minutes left. Here's the question I put off. Anyway, that was my show notes for today. 145 of you are here. Great to see you all this morning. Tune in tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Not 8:30, 10 a.m. I may, if I don't have to deal with plumbing shit, I may actually get to Sam's Club early. Hopefully they'll have more eggs, although there was something on the news this morning about the egg shortage and now egg prices are going up and all that. But I think that was about stuff that's been happening. I don't think there's anything new in that, but we'll see. I may have Jonathan Bags Pack Family, my Alaska friend, might stop in and pay a visit tomorrow morning. At any rate, we'll see. We'll see. He said that he would love to, and I'll text him a little later and we'll make some plans. May or may not happen, but 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. For those of you on the West Coast or points west of here, the 1 day a week I do it later. Okay, Steve Studley, what do you know about the DEXA scan? It's the gold standard to measure bone density, muscle fat. Yes, it is. It is. A DEXA scan is a full body scan, and they can actually differentiate the density of everything, the different types of fat, where the muscle is. And then they, through computer software, calculate the actual real percentages of everything you have in your body. Muscle mass, lean mass, fat mass, bone density, all that stuff. It's tremendous technology. I don't know what they cost. Some places I've seen them advertised cheap. I don't want one. I don't care. I don't care, but if you are interested, if you're especially somebody who's trying to be an athlete or something, and that stuff matters to you, yeah, DEXA scan is great. I don't know a ton about it, but I certainly have seen plenty of reports over the years from people who've had DEXA scans, and anything you never wanted to know. And when you get a DEXA scan and it tells you what your body fat percentage is, you pretty well know that that's the accurate number, not the approximation of it that the scales that you weigh yourself on, when they tell you you're 19% body fat or 35% body fat, they might be off 5 or 10% or more, because they're just using electrical resistance to measure the flow of certain currents and frequencies through your body, going up through your feet or up one foot and down the other leg. But no, that's about all I can say about that. I'm not an expert on it, but that's what a DEXA scan is. Resting Witch Face is here. Good morning to you, a.k.a. the happiest carnivore. Well, I might beg to differ. I may be the happiest carnivore. I'm a pretty happy carnivore. Okay, I'm really behind again. Yeah, let me run through this so I can get out of here on time. I'm just going to look for questions. It's hard for me to scroll through these things and not actually try to read what they say, but I'm just looking for QQQs. Tom Viking says, yes, 100 mad. Yeah, that's the average person. It's a nonstop grazing from morning till night. Never stop eating. Can't always, even if you go out, even if you think you're going to be away from the house for 10 minutes, you better throw a little cellophane bag full of some kind of snack in your pocket or your purse. Most people live with the fear of starving to death, even though maybe it's not a conscious fear. When you're living on sugar, you're one day away from death as far as your subconscious is concerned, because you can only store one day's worth of energy from sugar in your body. Unlike fat, you can store years worth of fat if you get big enough. But sugar, stop. Sugar, one day, you're dead. So we need to make sure, since we're running on sugar, that we're always on the hunt and we're always replenishing it every hour or two. Better throw those cravings at this person lest they stop thinking about sugar. We can't have that. Seasai has a question. Good morning, Mitch. What is the highlight of today's meetup? Well, the meat. An endless supply. This is a Brazilian steakhouse. These guys dressed like gauchos come with these big spits full of meat, and you have a tong, and they come up to your plate and they put the spit down and they slice you off a hunk of meat, and you reach up with your tongs and grab it. And they have picanha, they have prime rib, they have rib eyes, they have skirt steak, they have filet mignon. They even have chicken. They even have some fish. They have everything. And then they got a big salad bar, which I've always ignored, but people tell me that there are meat things on there. There's a lot, some smoked salmon and others. So I'm going to look at it today and see if there isn't any fish or something that would complement the meat. As long as it's animal products, I'm game. I'm game. And they just keep coming. They just keep coming around. And you got a little card that goes on your table, and it's got a red side and a green side. And if the green side is up, it means you want more meat. If the red side's up, it means the guy can walk right on by you. You don't see a lot of red sides. But I'll tell you one thing I noticed about this style of eating is you really don't overeat. One would think, because most of us waddle out of buffets, don't we? Traditional buffets. By the time you're done, you can't move. It never happens because the satiety kicks in, and you can't help that if you're eating just meat. And you get to a point where you just, okay, I've had enough. Even though you could sit there all day and eat, $500 worth of meat, you won't. You won't. You're not in charge. Your physiology is in charge. And when your physiology says, all right, turn off the hunger, I don't care how good it is, how expensive it is, it will not be appealing to you anymore. We all know that feeling. Sometimes when you're eating 1.5 pounds of ground beef, that last forkful, you got to force yourself if you want to finish it because you just don't want it. It doesn't taste as good as it did. Enough, you say to yourself, enough, enough. That's what satiety is. That's what everybody that isn't eating properly never gets to experience. Eating carbs is satiety. What they get to experience is bloating, overeating, the feeling that you're going to explode if you put another. I never even feel full when satiety kicks in. I never feel uncomfortable. I don't ever, let's say, loosen my belt a notch like so many people are used to. That's the difference. That's because it's out of your control. Your body's taking care of all that for you. All it's doing to you is trying to tell you, okay, eat now. Okay, stop eating now. It's that simple. God, do we overcomplicate it? God, do we overcomplicate it? But yeah, that's the, and of course, this second to the meat, I would think, meeting each other is the highlight. Just meeting people. I love to meet people. I love to meet people that are like-minded. And I know, and I don't consider myself a celebrity or a star, so I don't go in there with this, well, the main event is you get to meet me. Big deal. That's I'm just like you guys. Just like you. But it's fun. It's fun. And I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. And I'd say about half of them that are going to be here today I've met before, and about half of them are people I haven't met yet. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think one of them is lost. But hopefully you'll find it. Aaron Booby Goat says, question, suggestions. You should do a 12-step video on how to quit carbs. Just rewrite the one for the Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I don't agree. I do not agree with most, because I don't think that, I think an alcoholic does a lot more damage to those around him, to their lives, than a carb addict does, because they're living with other carb addicts. So it goes unnoticed, the damage that they do. Hey, could you drive me to the doctor today? Okay. You don't have, but most of the 12 steps in an Alcoholics Anonymous program are religious. They're religious. Believe me, they're religious. I don't think religion has any part in curing your carb addiction. And they require that you apologize to everybody whose life you've negatively affected, and contrition and all that stuff. And I don't think it would be anywhere near the same. I think the simplicity is best. I think that there may be 2 or 3 or 4 major points, and the most salient of them would be admit that you're an addict. Understand why. That's the key. Just admitting I'm an addict, you'll talk yourself out of that in a minute. If you understand why, if you understand the processes, the physiology, the psychology, the power of your subconscious to make you do anything it wants to do and rationalize it to you, that's the key. You learn that, and I think that lady who sent me that long comment that I read to you today finally had that epiphany. And once you have that epiphany, after that, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You're one up on your, I see what you're doing. When you finally discover a con man and you say, oh man, why didn't I know this before? You are a con man. I know how you're doing it. A magician. I know how you did that trick. I can't believe anybody falls for it. Well, everybody falls for it until you learn how it's done. Well, that's how your subconscious works. You don't know how it's manipulating you, but once you finally accept the fact that that's what's happening, that you're being fed these lame excuses, and it's at the same time it's feeding you these cravings, promising a reward of a dopamine hit and all that pleasure, you can't resist. That's how animals are motivated to eat, reproduce, run like hell when there's danger, attack. We're the same. Arrogant creatures that we are, think we're not really animals at the heart of who we are. Once you accept that, have that epiphany that, aha, gotcha, caught you, you're not getting away with that anymore, then it's easy. It's easy. Just follow the simple little things that I followed. For the first 30 days, don't let yourself get hungry. The cravings will go away. And head the cravings off at the pass. That's the important thing, because once the cravings get through the pass, they're gone. That's why I tell you, always have food handy. Always have something cooked, ready to go. The instant the first thought of that crap comes into your mind, that's the time you got to nail it like a fire. You got to put the fire out when you see the first flame. You can't wait till the entire house is burning. So recognize when you're getting a craving first. And that means if you consciously think about that food you don't want to eat, that is the first sign. Immediately, for the first 30 days or 60 days of a carnivore diet, start eating meat and eat an entire meal and eat until you get that I can't eat another bite feeling. Otherwise, the cravings will win. They always do. They always will. It sounds strange, but that works. And that's my message. Other than that, you know the rest of it. Eat meat. Very simple. Great question, Aaron. Great question. I appreciate that. Any question that lets me get off on a baby rant and down some little rabbit hole, I love. I love those things. Yeah, I see this here. The PBD podcast, Patrick Bet-David interviewed Paul Saladino. Yeah, listen, Paul Saladino's, even though we think he's a wacko and he's eating 10 million grams of carbs a day and fruit and something, living down in Costa Rica, surfing his little brains out, he's one of the few original or early carnivore people on YouTube. His handle was the Carnivore MD, still is, I think. A lot of people give him a real bad rap. They call him a turncoat and all that. But, he's got his reasons. He's not a dumb man. And a lot of the stuff he says is still certainly right on the money. So you can't dismiss him. You just, when he starts talking about why you should be eating 300 grams of carbs and all this fruit every day, you got to say, well, wait a minute. Haven't we been told that fructose is the worst kind of sugar that we could eat? So, you balance it all out. I'm sure there are things that people think they respect me and say, wow, that Mitch is, he knows what he's talking about, but he's dead wrong about that. Of course, nobody knows it all. Not me, not anybody else, Oh, somebody got around to buying me a coffee. Let's see. Jane, thank you so much, Jane. Love the carb addiction subject you talk about, she says. Let me finish reading that whole thing, because it is the truth, and this helps people realize the gravity of it all. Enjoy your meetup today, Mitch. You deserve it, and take the rest of the day off. Would that I could. I have a live stream tonight. But don't let that stop you guys from taking the rest of the day off. And thanks so much for that coffee. And in honor of that, I will post the link again. Appreciate it. And I just did. Okay, that was a great question. Lat says, I think the YouTube algorithm misunderstood what your actual critique was. I don't know. I don't think they get that deep into it. I think that as far as whether the only thing YouTube's doing for most of us in this space is they just have a little filter in there. There's one little variable in that billion lines of code that is the algorithm. They change and tweak every day. That probably says, if you see the word carnivore anywhere or keto in their channel name, then, cut the number of recommendations by 90%. And that just happened. And it happened as soon as the World Health Organization became a partner of YouTube, helping them from the dangerous people like us spreading such wild misinformation as in eat meat. Hopefully things will turn around, but it's not going to change overnight. Not going to change overnight. These things evolve and then have to de-evolve. But one little variable in that entire block of code that would be changed, just something that took the word carnivore out of a string. I'm a programmer. I know how this works. One little tweak to the code, I could be getting 10,000 views on every video easily instead of just 500 to 1,000. It's crazy. And that's what they do. And you go prove that they're censoring. You can't. That's why they call it shadow banning. They can do it without it being obvious, and then blame it on you. Well, Mitch. Do you ever stop to think that maybe you just are no good? You ever stop to think that maybe it's your fault? It's what they do to us on diet, isn't it? They give us all this crap advice, the doctors. You follow their advice to the T. You get sicker and fatter, and they tell you, well, obviously, we know that this advice is good, so you must be doing something wrong. You're not working hard enough. You're eating too much. And they turn you into the perpetrator. And you go away not only being upset that you're getting sicker and fatter, but you're now ashamed of yourself as well. And you start punishing yourself because this idiot doctor tells you it's your fault. And interestingly, that's what caused Ken Berry's epiphany a number of years ago, is that's what he was doing. He was convinced because he was taught that the advice he was giving his patients was correct. But he was getting sick and fat himself following that advice. So there's some firsthand believable data. Well, I was blaming all these people, but damn. Look, I'm becoming a diabetic. I'm 300 pounds, and I'm following that advice too. Ding, ding, ding. Could that advice be wrong? It has to be wrong. Common sense dictates that if you do something that's supposed to work and it doesn't work, and you do it exactly as you're supposed to, that there's something wrong with that advice you're getting. And we're still trying to pound that into everybody's head. Unfortunately, they are owned now, a slave to that carb addiction that has been so firmly cemented in our population for 50 to 100 years that you're now fighting with your own subconscious trying to stop eating this stuff, regardless of what the doctor says. And you're always hungry and you're always tortured and you're always craving. No human can live like that. Oh, there's my plumber. He texted me, so he's probably on the way. On the way, when you go to Lowe's, grab like 8 more shark bites. Oh my God. Those shark bites cost $12 a piece. It's a fitting. Oh my God, I only bought about 20 of them so far. Wow. Wow. So he won't get here until too late. I'm going to have to just, God. In 2 hours from now, I need to be walking into a meetup. This guy was supposed to be here at 9:30. He won't be here till 10:30. And I'm supposed to go to Lowe's in the meantime. So I'm going to have to end this here pretty soon. Like right now, guys. Sorry. I'm going to just look for any last-minute questions. If you asked me a question today, here's one. Cecilia House, since pork rinds are great carnivore snacks, are they available in grocery stores with other snack items? We must read the labels. No veggie oils listed. Yeah. I find one thing wrong with your statement, and that is don't snack. Forget the word snack. Write it out of your vocabulary. Whenever you put food in your mouth, it's a meal. It's a part of a meal. It starts a cascade of digestive processes. Eat to satiety. Get out of the habit of snacking. Don't look at pork rinds as a carnivore snack. Look at them as a side dish to a meal that you're eating, as croutons in your bowl of soup, as the base for an hors d'oeuvre of smoked salmon or something like that. But don't look at them as a snack. That's why I cringe when I hear any keto or carnivore influencer say, the best carnivore snacks. I made one video, and that was the title. What are my favorite carnivore snacks? And the answer was, there aren't any. Don't snack. And I went on and did a rant about why snacking just screws you up. Snacking is what carb addicts do. Part of the grazing, one meal they eat from morning to night. Psychologically, it reinforces the fact that you need to keep putting food. It would be like driving your car and stopping every 5 minutes to top off your gas tank. That's what snacking is. You don't need it. Don't snack. But yeah, pork rinds are great. They sell them at Sam's. They usually sell them in grocery stores. Some of them are made by Fritos. Just make sure there's no crap in them. And God knows they try to put crap in them. Although I don't know why. You don't need oil to make a pork rind. It comes with its own fat. You just render it out. Question. Does hitting the like button help you on the live stream? Scott Evans says, I couldn't hurt. I don't know. I don't go for it. I don't ever tell people, hey, like and subscribe and hit that bell and all that other crap. And here's the average YouTuber. Sup YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you'll never miss another one of my videos. And before I start, let me talk to you about today's sponsor. Today, this video is brought to you by Ferdburfer Industries, maker of the finest, this is YouTube. It makes me sick to watch crap like that. This is not the way you wear a baseball cap. This is how you wear a baseball cap. And if you want to be silly, wear it like this. Or like this. God, I'm just getting too old. I'm getting too old for this stuff. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to have to go, guys, because I got to run to Lowe's before the plumber gets here. So I will see you all tonight, 8 o'clock. And I'll see you guys coming to the meetup in a couple of hours. In the meantime, my friends, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.